Wrestlers are known for their over-the-top in-ring personas. However, sometimes those personas become real-life problems. Thus, these are 10 WWE wrestlers you might not have known were previously arrested. Billy Gunn was arrested in 1990 on charges of disorderly conduct. He was arrested after a disturbance at a bar in Orlando, Florida. According to police, Gunn and his friends were seen arguing and shouting at each other. They were also seen stumbling around and falling down. Gunn was arrested and taken to the Orange County Jail. Shawn Michaels was arrested in Louisville, Kentucky during one of the wild days of his youth. The charges were not made public. However, he did have to go to the Jefferson County Jail Sheriff's Office. Ric Flair was arrested in 2005 in Charlotte, North Carolina, due to charges stemming from an alleged road rage incident. However, Flair was ultimately cleared of all charges when the witness against him failed to appear in court. Wade Barrett was arrested in June of 2008 in Tampa, Florida, on charges of battery of a law enforcement officer and obstructing or opposing an officer. According to police, Barrett and a group of friends were involved in a disturbance at the bar. When police arrived, Barrett allegedly became belligerent and refused to cooperate. He was then arrested and charged with battery of a law enforcement officer and obstructing or opposing an officer. Barrett was released on bail after his arrest. He pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct and was fined $500. The other charges were dropped. Steve Austin was arrested in June of 2002 in San Antonio, Texas, on charges of assault with bodily injury. According to police, Austin and his wife, Deborah Marshall, were involved in a disturbance at the bar. When police arrived, Austin allegedly became belligerent and refused to cooperate. He was then arrested and charged with assault with bodily injury. Austin was released on bail after his arrest. He pleaded no contest to the charge and was sentenced to 10 days in jail, 100 hours of community service, and anger management counseling. Charlotte Flair was arrested in 2008 for a domestic dispute involving an altercation with her then-boyfriend Ricky Johnson. As a result of the incident, she was sentenced to 45 days in jail. However, the sentence was later reduced to supervised probation and a $200 fine. She later married Johnson in 2010. They eventually got divorced in 2013. Chris Jericho was arrested on January 28, 2010, in Kenton County, Kentucky, on charges of alcohol intoxication in a public place. He was arrested along with fellow wrestler Gregory Helms. The charges stemmed from an incident that occurred earlier that day at a gas station in Crescent Springs, Kentucky. According to police, Jericho and Helms were both extremely intoxicated and disorderly. They were arrested and taken to the Kenton County Detention Center. Jericho and Helms were released on $120 bonds each. They appeared in court on February 2, 2010, and they both pleaded guilty to the charges. They were each fined $100 and ordered to pay court costs. In 2001, Brock Lesnar was arrested for illegal possession of steroids. He was facing a possible felony conviction and potentially time behind bars. However, a lab test confirmed that he was not in possession of steroids, and the charges were later dropped. Roman Reigns was arrested in June of 2010 in Pensacola, Florida. He was arrested for public intoxication, affray, disorderly conduct, riot, and unlawful assembly. Ultimately, Reigns was released on a $1,000 bond and was forced to pay $500 for each of the aforementioned offenses. Thus, these are 10 wrestlers that had a few run-ins with the law, but were able to have successful wrestling careers.